All right, everyone, get ready for an awesome journey today.
Yeah,
We're diving deep into Cusco and Machu Picchu.
sounds exciting.
It is. We've got this travel blog called Hotel in Peru, Guide to Visiting the Inca Citadel and What to Do in Cusco. Your adventure starts here.
Catchy title.
Right. It's super informative and makes you want to pack your bags right away.
I can see that.
But before you book that flight, there's something you need to know about Cusco.
Oh, what's that?
It's way, way up there.
High altitude.
You got it. Like 11,200 feet above sea level, higher than almost any point in the continental U.S.
Wow, that's pretty high. Definitely something to consider before you go.
Yeah, and the blog wasn't joking when they said even walking upstairs there can feel like
Workout.
more like a full-on marathon.
I can imagine. With less oxygen at that altitude, your body has to work much harder. It's like breathing through a straw.
So that's why people get altitude sickness.
Exactly. Headaches, fatigue, you name it. Your body is basically freaking out a bit because it's not getting enough oxygen.
Yikes. So what's the best way to deal with that? I remember the blog mentioned coca tea. Does that actually help?
It can help with some symptoms for sure, but honestly, the most important thing is to give your body time to adjust.
Like an acclimatization period?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of it as training for a high-altitude adventure. And don't underestimate the power of hydration.
Water.
Yep. Water is like your secret weapon at high altitudes. It helps your body acclimatize faster.
Got it. Slow and steady wins the altitude race.
You got it.
Okay, so once we're acclimated and ready to explore, where should we head first?
Well, the blog highly recommends starting at the Plaza de Armas.
Plaza de Armas, okay.
They call it the heart of the city, and for good reason.
Oh, why is that?
This wasn't just the central square, it was like the Times Square of the Inca Empire.
Really? That's cool.
Imagine grand ceremonies, important gatherings, maybe even some Inca parades, all happening right there.
Wow, I can picture it now.
And then when the Spanish came along, they kind of added their own twist. Colonial buildings, a cathedral. It's like this amazing blend of history you can see right in front of you.
So it's not just a plaza, it's like a living timeline of Cusco.
Exactly. And you can just feel those layers of history all around you.
That's amazing. Okay, so we've soaked up the history of Plaza de Armas.
Mhm.
What's next on our Cusco adventure?
Well, if you're an art lover, you absolutely can't miss the San Blas neighborhood.
San Blas, okay. The blog made it sound pretty artsy.
Oh, it is. It's like stepping into a giant, vibrant art gallery.
What kind of art are we talking about here?
Everything. Think traditional crafts, colorful textiles, paintings that capture the soul of the Andes. And when the sun sets, the vibe shifts to the cafes and bars tucked away in those narrow, winding streets.
Sounds like a cultural treasure hunt.
It totally is.
All right, I gotta ask about this one. Sacsayhuaman.
Ah, yes. The site with the,
Interesting name.
you could say that. The blog actually gives a pretty funny pronunciation guide. Sexy woman.
Sexy woman. All right, I'll remember that. But what makes this site so special, besides the name, I mean?
Well, the Inca stonework there is absolutely mind-blowing. Massive stone walls, some weighing over 100 tons, and they fit together perfectly like a giant jigsaw puzzle. No mortar, no modern tools, just pure Inca brilliance.
That's incredible. What was the purpose of Sacsayhuaman?
Historians believe it was both a ceremonial site and a fortress, all with these breathtaking panoramic views. You can just imagine the ceremonies and rituals that took place there.
Okay, so we've explored the city, the art, the history. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
Oh, me too.
What about Cusco's food scene? The blog raved about the culinary experience.
Get ready for a flavor explosion because Peruvian cuisine is truly unique. It's a fusion of indigenous ingredients like quinoa and potatoes, blended with Spanish, African, and even Asian influences.
Wow, that's quite the mix. The blog specifically mentioned rocoto relleno, cuy al horno, and lomo saltado. Can you break those down for me?
Let's start with rocoto relleno. It's basically a spicy pepper stuffed with this savory mix of meat and cheese.
Sounds delicious, but definitely spicy. What about cuy al horno?
Cuy al horno is roasted guinea pig. It's a traditional dish and a real cultural experience.
Roasted guinea pig, huh? I might have to be brave for that one.
It's definitely an adventure for your taste buds. And then there's lomo saltado, which is where those Asian influences really come through. It's a stir fry with beef, onions, tomatoes, all tossed in soy sauce.
Okay, that one I'm definitely on board with.
It's a symphony of flavors and textures.
Now I'm really hungry. But before we get too carried away with food, let's talk about getting to Machu Picchu, the crown jewel of this whole trip. What options does the blog suggest?
There are 3 main paths to choose from. You can take the train, hike the Inca Trail, or try the hydroelectric route.
Okay, break those down for me. Let's start with the train. Is that the most scenic route?
Absolutely. Imagine winding through the Andes, those breathtaking vistas unfolding right before your eyes. But there's a catch. The blog compared getting train tickets to Machu Picchu to getting tickets to a Taylor Swift concert.
You're kidding.
Nope. You got to plan way ahead. Those tickets are in high demand.
I'm sensing a theme here. Early booking is essential for this trip. Okay, what about the Inca Trail? That sounds pretty epic.
It is. It's a 4-day hike. Definitely not for the faint of heart. But imagine this. You arrive at Machu Picchu as the sun rises, that mist clearing to reveal the lost city. Pure magic.
Goosebumps just thinking about it. Okay, I'm adding train tickets and hiking boots to my packing list.
Yeah.
What about the hydroelectric route? Is that just a cheaper option?
It's definitely budget friendly, but it's also a unique experience. You take buses part of the way and then hike along the train tracks. It's slower, but you get to really immerse yourself in the landscape.
Sounds like a good option for those who want a more off-the-beaten-path experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's fast forward. We've made it to Machu Picchu. We're standing there, jaws dropped, taking it all in. The blog mentioned that no photo can truly capture its grandeur. What's it like to actually be there?
It's like stepping into another world. Imagine this ancient city perched high in the Andes, mist swirling around those incredible ruins.
I'm trying to picture it, but I feel like my imagination can't even do it justice.
It's one of those places you have to experience to truly understand. It just takes your breath away.
All right, I'm there in spirit. What should we see first?
The blog recommends heading straight for the guardhouse for that classic panoramic photo.
The one you see on all the postcards.
Exactly. It's the iconic Machu Picchu view.
Got it. Got to get that photo. Okay, what's next? Something a little more adventurous.
If you're up for a challenge, there's Huayna Picchu.
Huayna Picchu. Okay, what is that?
It's the mountain you see looming over Machu Picchu in all the photos. It's a steep climb, but the view from the top is, well,
Worth the effort.
oh yeah,
Huh.
definitely a must-do for adventure seekers.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
What about the Temple of the Sun? The blog mentioned something about its connection to the solstices.
The Temple of the Sun is truly remarkable. The Incas designed those perfectly curved walls to capture the sun's rays during the solstices. It's thought to have been a place of ceremony, a way to connect with the cosmos.
That's incredible. The Incas were really in tune with nature. Okay, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on some of those practical tips the blog emphasized.
Practicalities, gotta love them.
Right. It's all fun and games until you get eaten alive by mosquitoes or realize you forgot something essential. So what did the blog say we absolutely need to remember?
Well, first things first, remember those snack smuggling guards. Pack those treats responsibly.
No smuggling. Got it. Respect the rules, right?
Exactly. Also, stick to the designated paths. It can be tempting to wander off and explore, but those trails are there to protect the ruins. We want to admire the beauty without causing any damage.
That makes perfect sense. Leave no trace.
Although,
What about bug spray? Did they really emphasize that?
oh yeah, Machu Picchu's in a cloud forest. Beautiful, but also a haven for mosquitoes and all sorts of insects.
Okay, bug spray is definitely going in my bag. And speaking of things that will make this trip amazing, let's circle back to hiring a guide. The blog seemed pretty adamant about that. Why is it so important?
Think about it this way. You're standing in front of an ancient Inca temple. Those intricately carved stones holding centuries of stories. A guide helps you understand those stories.
So it's not just about seeing the ruins, it's about really understanding them, connecting with them on a deeper level.
Exactly. A good guide can make all the difference. They bring those stones to life, sharing the history, the culture, the secrets hidden within those walls. It's like having a key to unlock the mysteries of Machu Picchu.
Wow, that's a great way to put it. A key to unlock the mysteries. I'm convinced. I definitely wouldn't want to miss out on that depth of knowledge and understanding.
It's an investment in your experience.
Couldn't agree more. It's amazing how this travel blog went beyond just surface-level travel tips and really gave us the tools to have an incredible, meaningful trip to Cusco and Machu Picchu.
It's all about empowering travelers to have the best experience possible. You know all this talk about the Temple of the Sun and how it aligns with the solstices?
Yeah.
It really got me thinking about how the Incas saw the world.
Like their worldview.
Exactly. They weren't just amazing builders. They
Right.
were really tuned into nature.
Yeah, the blog touched on that. How the Incas believed in this balance with nature.
It wasn't just a belief. It was like their whole way of life.
Totally. So how does that connect to their mythology?
Well, think about it. Their myths and stories about the gods and goddesses, it all reflects that deep connection to nature.
Okay, so tell me more about their mythology. Did they have, like, a whole bunch of gods like the ancient Greeks?
Well, instead of Mount Olympus, they looked to the sky and the earth for inspiration.
That makes sense.
Their main god was Inti, the sun god, and the source of all life and warmth.
So, like, their version of Zeus,
Kinda. But they also had Pachamam, the earth mother.
Pachamama.
She represented fertility and abundance.
It's like they saw the divine everywhere they looked.
Exactly. And they also had a moon goddess, Mamakilla.
Mama Kill.
She controlled the tides and cycles of time and was even linked to female power.
Wow. So their mythology wasn't just stories. It was like a way to explain the world around them.
Exactly. A lot of their myths explain things like the constellations or how mountains were formed.
You have a favorite?
Well, there's this one about the Milky Way.
Oh, yeah?
They believed it was formed from spilled corn.
He spills core.
Yeah, creating a pathway across the sky.
That's beautiful. So did their myths teach lessons too, like Aesop's fables?
Oh, definitely. Many of their myths had morals about respecting nature, community, and living in harmony.
So they weren't just entertaining, they were like guidelines for living.
Exactly, woven into their culture.
You know, it's amazing how much we're learning about the Incas from this one travel blog.
Right.
We started with practical travel tips, and now we're diving into mythology.
It's all connected.
What about their art? What can we learn from that?
Their art is so expressive, especially their textiles.
The blog mentioned those, with all those bright colors,
They were masters of weaving and dyeing.
using natural dyes, right?
Yep. Plants, minerals, even insects.
Wow. To create these amazing colors, each with its own special meaning.
It's like wearing a piece of their culture.
Totally. What about music?
Music and dance were huge for them.
Really?
They used instruments like flutes, drums, rattles to create these incredible soundscapes.
And it was all connected to their ceremonies and festivals, right?
Absolutely. It was part of their everyday lives.
And the cool thing is, a lot of those traditions are still alive today.
You can still see traditional dances and hear their music in Cusco.
It's amazing how their culture lives on.
It really is.
You know, talking about their reverence for nature and their art and stories, it makes me think we can learn a lot from them today.
I agree. Their understanding of sustainability, their connection to nature, their sense of community, those are values we could all use a little more of.
Right? Absolutely. It's like ancient wisdom from modern times.
Exactly. So as you plan your trip to Cusco and Machu Picchu, remember,
Yeah.
it's not just about seeing the sights, but also experiencing this incredible culture
A culture that has so much to teach us.
about ourselves and the world around us.
I love that. It's not just a trip, it's a journey of discovery.
Exactly. So what else did this blog inspire you to learn about?
Well, okay, so we've explored the culture, the myths, the food.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about the actual trip.
The logistics.
Exactly. The blog had a ton of practical advice.
Always helpful.
It's one thing to dream about Machu Picchu.
Right.
It's another to actually get there.
And that's where good planning comes in.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like booking those train tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that analogy?
Like getting Taylor Swift tickets.
Exactly.
Got to be on top of it.
Makes sense. Though Machu Picchu is a global icon.
Millions of people want to see it.
So no procrastinating on those tickets.
Especially for the train.
Got it. What other practical tips did the blog have?
Well, remember those snack-sniffing guards they talked about?
Oh, yeah.
Pack your snacks responsibly.
Right. Respect the rules
It's about preserving the site.
for future generations.
Exactly.
What else should we be mindful of?
Staying on the paths.
Oh, right.
It's tempting to wander off, but those paths are there for a reason.
To protect the ruins.
From damage. We want to admire the beauty without leaving a trace.
Makes sense. Okay. The blog also mentioned bug spray.
Oh, yeah.
Is it really that buggy?
Machu Picchu is in a cloud forest.
Right.
Beautiful, but full of mosquitoes.
So bug spray is essential.
Absolutely.
Okay, noted. And let's talk about hiring a guide.
The blog really stressed that.
Why is it so important?
Imagine you're standing in front of an ancient temple.
Yeah.
Those stones are whispering stories of a lost civilization.
Wow.
A guide can help you understand those stories.
So it's more than just seeing the sights.
It's about understanding them, connecting with them.
Getting that deeper level of knowledge.
Exactly. A guide can really unlock the mysteries of Machu Picchu.
Like a key. I'm convinced. I wouldn't want to miss that. It's amazing how this blog went beyond just surface level tips.
Right.
It gave us the tools to really have a meaningful trip.
That's what we aim for, empowering travelers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned so much, not just about Cusco and Machu Picchu,
Yeah,
but about Inca culture, history,
it's all connected.
even a bit about myself and how I like to travel.
That's awesome. That's what we hope for with every deep dive.
To spark that curiosity,
Ignite the imagination.
maybe even inspire someone to take a leap and explore.
Exactly. Because travel is more than just reaching a destination.
It's about the journey, the experiences.
The lessons learned along the way.
Well said. So, to everyone listening,
Yes.
let this be the start of your own Cusco and Machu Picchu adventure.
Whether you're planning a trip or just letting your mind wander,
There's a world of wonder waiting to be discovered.
keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep
Yeah.
that spirit of adventure alive.
Beautifully said. That wraps up another deep dive.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Until next time, happy travels.